Hello everybody, this is just Mustaine 1940, and I'm just going to do another kind of review for you, but it's not as much as a review as what I do with music or what I'm going to do with movies and video games or anything. This is going to be just kind of a talk about the NHL alignment, and this is going to be a talk about the new season schedule, and this is going to be a discussion about the Olympics. It's not going to be that long of a video, but out of all my videos, no matter how many views any of the videos have, I don't really have a lot of comments, or I don't really have any comments, and I want to make a video that can bring in a good video basis for NHL chat, but can also bring forward some comments and discussion for me to discuss with them in the video now. The new alignment is set up with 4 divisions. They're in the East, there's 2 18 divisions, and in the West, there's 2 17 divisions. And I can't really remember all the names now. I'm a pretty big hockey fanatic, but it was only announced yesterday, and it's Atlantic, Pacific, Metropolitan, and oh yeah, it's Central. Sorry, I don't know why I didn't remember that. And I don't really mind any alignments. It seems like the alignments are where they should be in Detroit. I'm a Detroit fan, but it really seems Detroit should be in the East. I feel that they've always had to travel way too far to their time zone, way too much in the season to play teams that weren't really in a conference with them, and they were farther east than some of the teams that were in the West. So it didn't really make sense to me, and they were farther east than some of the teams that are in the East. So to me, it didn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's okay. It's how it was aligned, and I just have to say that I really like that they're in the East now, and I really like that conference. But I really do think that division, the Atlantic Division, I think that it's really stacked. I think beyond, it's going to be a money-making revenue in that division, and there's 4 of the 6 original 6 teams in that division. If I'm correct, it's Boston, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Detroit, Buffalo, Tampa Bay, and Florida. Now that really helps out Tampa Bay and Florida. That might have been the NHL's choice to split up those 2 teams and then throw them into a different division instead of putting them in a division with San Jose and whatnot. But that might have been a plan for them. I assume it was a plan for them to throw them in a division with some big money-making teams like Ottawa, Detroit, Toronto, Montreal, and Boston. And same with Buffalo. Buffalo has been a little hard pressed for money in the past few seasons, and having them in this kind of conference with to reestablish rivalries and make new rivalries with teams like Tampa Bay and Detroit is a really good thing. And in the East and the West, it's set up that every team in each conference plays each other 3 times, and it's set up that every team in every division plays each other 4 times, at least 4 times, and you play 2 teams in your division 5 times. And then you play, I'm pretty sure you play everyone in the league twice, but you play everyone in the league at least once. But I really like the alignment, and I thought it was a really good thing for the NHL. I don't really think there's anything negative about it, and I'm just going to ask you to leave in comments what you guys think of the alignment, and who do you guys think are playoff contenders, as top 4 from every division are going to contend in the playoffs. I personally think for the Atlantic that you can easily say, not easily, but I think you can say Boston will win that division, and then I think Detroit will be a strong second. Then I think Toronto will make it, and then I think if Ottawa can stay out of injury, Ottawa will make it, because Montreal for me is just too small, and they're going to get bowled over with this new division I've already said. But I think Montreal will contend, but I think it'll take Ottawa taking another injury to Erik Karlsson, or an injury to Jason Spezza or Bobby Ryan, because they lost some serious leadership with Danny Alfredson, and I really do think that Bobby Ryan's not going to be able to step up in the locker room, but he's obviously going to be able to step up on the ice as he's a better player. The only other division that I really took a huge look at was Chicago's division with Minnesota, and that division, to me, in my opinion, Chicago should be in the playoffs. Now, I do think Chicago lost some depth with Stallberg and Bolin and Roosevelt, but they still do have all their good players. They still do have Crawford. They lost Emery, so I don't know who's going to back them up, and Emery was 17-1 last year. So in my opinion, yeah, they lost some depth, and they're not as much as a Stanley Cup contender this year as they were last year. But they do still have a lot of great players and a lot of caliber, and I do intend on seeing them as the division winner for their for their division, and I do see them being a top three chance at representing the Western Conference in the Stanley Cup again, or even into the conference final. But yeah, just leave any information or any questions or any debates in the comments, and hope other people will too. And that's what I ask of you guys. Now, next, I want to talk the Olympics. And we finally got the Olympic okay, and then NHL players are going to the Olympics, and we get a 2-week hiatus in February. And um, it's great that we're going back to the Olympics. It's a really good thing, and it's a really good thing that it won't be until 2021 that we deal with another chance at a lockout. So all that's really good for the NHL and the Olympics. Now, I just want you guys to leave your comments and debates and arguments in the comments. There's not really much I have to say about the Olympics. I just have to say that I think there's some serious contenders this year. I think the Czechs are really wakening up. I read a report and a review on NHL.com that was talking about the players for the Czechs and the goalies. And I don't think the Czechs are there to be anything more than a fourth place, or maybe if they get lucky with a couple wins, a third bronze medal game. But I don't really see them having a chance at a gold medal with the roster that they have set up. I really do see the chance of Sweden, the USA, and Canada going on to win the Olympics. Now, Sweden has a strong roster, and now there's going to be 35 plus games with Danny Alfredsson and Henrik Zetterberg and Kronwall and Franz and Eriksson all playing together, getting a chance to get even more chemistry than they already have from World Championships and playing in Sweden together. So that's really good for them. Now, Detroit losing Damian Brenner was rough, but I think the Swiss will be okay. I think the Swiss will win a couple of games, but I don't think they'll do anything serious. When it comes to Russia, I think Russia will do great. I think Russia will do great. I intend to see Kovalchuk there, but you never know. There's a chance that he's not. But I do intend that Russia will send Ilya Kovalchuk. He's a great player, and obviously he can be a game changer now. I think they'll send Ilya Bryzgalov, and I think they'll send Varlamov, and I think they'll send Nabokov as their three starters. And I honestly do see Semyon Varlamov deserving the starting position now. In the 2010 Olympics, I thought Ilya Bryzgalov should have held the starting position, but they gave it to Nabokov, and he got lit up in most games. And then they put Bryzgalov in against Canada, and he got lit up too, but he was making the saves that he should have made, but Nabokov wasn't. I don't think Nabokov should be Olympic caliber. I think it should be Varlamov and Bryzgalov. Bryzgalov has had a couple rough seasons, but I think he'll make a comeback. He hasn't signed anywhere in the NHL yet, but I'm sure he'll sign somewhere soon. I'm thinking maybe Calgary, and get him back in a kind of team that needs him to be a caliber goalie, not like Philly, where they didn't necessarily need him to be a caliber goalie, and they thought he'd be good coming into Phoenix, and he wasn't. But I think he'll do good there. Now, when it comes to America, I really do think that they're depthy and all. Now, I think Canada kind of misses out on the goalies right now because no one really knows who's going to be the goalie there. I think Carey Price will be the starter there, but there was talk about if Mike Smith has another fantastic season for the Phoenix Coyotes. If it depends what Luongo's going to do, if he ends up staying in Vancouver and plays great, or whatever. But we can never be quite sure. And goaltending is kind of an issue there, and I'm not too stunned on the defense, but it's also really well set up with Shea Weber and Shea Weber and whatnot. So I think they're defensively fine. Their forwards are obviously fine. We have the best forward set in the National Hockey League, going all the way over to Canada. But for the U.S., I really like the U.S. defense with Suter and Yandel and Pietrangelo and Goligoski. And I really think our goaltenders are the most elite in the Olympics. I think the U.S.'s goaltenders in the Olympics will be the top goaltending pair. I think Quick will end up taking a starting job for the U.S. this year, and I do think that Jimmy Howard will get the secondary slot, and he'll play some Olympic action for the NHL. And then I do think that it will be Craig Anderson or Ryan Miller, depending who has a better season. Craig Anderson and Ryan Miller are both kind of injury prone, which will leave them to not getting a starting their secondary job. I do think Craig Anderson is a better goaltender than Jimmy Howard, but he gets injured, and in the past 2 seasons and the last Jimmy Howard has become a top 10 elite NHL goalie. Now, not elite status because he really hasn't won a cup, so you can't really call him elite. But he has done what he needs to do for the Wings and against San Jose in the playoffs 2 years ago. 3 years ago, sorry, and against Chicago and Anaheim this year. Jimmy Howard, in my opinion, was the Red Wing MVP in the playoffs and all season. The way he played, when they had to get in the playoffs and win some games. So I think he'll be the secondary goalie. Sorry. But yeah, just leave any Olympic debate and questions in the comments, and do the same for the new alignment and the new season coming up, and anything else regarding NHL that you have to bring up, just leave it up.